are live. Why do I hear myself twice? I don't like that. Fox, is that you or me?
I
Anyways,
don't know.
anyways. Welcome back to another episode of Shutter and Chill. I'm Justin. We got Fox, who he doesn't have his camera today, so if you're watching, you're gonna look at sexy Fox all day. Uh, and then we got a super special guest, Miss Katrina. Thank you for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of
Boo, boo,
course,
boo.
super glad to have you on. Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
dive straight into it. Why not? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I've been in Japan for 7 years. I came to Japan 3 times before I moved here. I've been in love with the country for a really, really long time. Studied Japanese at university, and when I graduated, I was offered a teaching job in Toyohashi through a sister city connection. So that's how I ended up in Japan. So I'm an English teacher, like a lot of other foreigners here.
Yeah.
But it's great and I really enjoy it. So,
Nice. So you came here 3 times. What sparked the interest for Japan?
like a lot of millennials, Pokemon became popular when I was a kid.
Mm,
And I thought, oh, Pokemon's really cool and Pokemon's from Japan. I bet Japan has other cool things.
mm-hmm.
And then I just started reading more and more about Japan and really actually fell in love with the traditional culture over anime. I think a lot of people are really into anime, but for me, I was really interested in geisha and kimono and tea ceremony and the more traditional aspects of Japan is
Mm.
what really drew me in.
And then, how was like your first experience after like falling in love with seeing Japan, seeing the things that Japan tells when you first came here? How was that experience for you?
It was incredible. It really was a dream come true, especially going to Kyoto.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, 2008, Kyoto was not completely overrun with tourists like it is now.
Yeah.
So I was able to have Gion all to myself, really, and I was able to see geisha out and about
Mm.
in Gion, which was really, really cool because you can't see that anymore.
Yeah. That's,
Oh, it was a really great experience. And I knew that I would come back here.
yeah. And then it was 2 times later, and you're here now. How long have you been living here officially?
I just had my 7 year Japan anniversary in March.
Oh wow. Do you plan on staying longer? Do you plan on going somewhere else?
Um, it's really difficult to say.
Mm-hmm.
I was really only supposed to be here for 3 years. My initial teaching contract was a 3 year contract.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, 3 years in Japan and I'll go home. But life happened and I just have kept staying in Japan.
So for those who are watching, what part of Japan do you live in?
So I live in a city called Toyohashi. It's the second largest city in Aichi Prefecture, and it's on the border of Shizuoka Prefecture.
How far is that? Is that in Nagoya? Near Nagoya? How far is that from?
It's about an hour from Nagoya
Oh wow.
on the train.
Okay. So you're outside of it. I thought you were in Nagoya. What's over there? Is there anything? Is it like farm? Is it city? What's the lifestyle over there?
Uh, Toyohashi has industry. I think there's like a Suzuki and Toyota are near here.
Mm,
Um, there's not really a lot of like touristy stuff to do,
yeah, that's fun.
so
Still, we're
I
still tourists.
avoid not going on the weekends.
Gotcha. Why'd you choose there to live out of Nagoya or anywhere else in Japan?
Because I was offered the job here
Mm-hmm.
due to a sister city connection.
Mm-hmm.
I went to university at the University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
and Toledo and Toyohashi are sister cities.
Mm,
So when I graduated, they asked me, "Oh, do would you like to go teach in Japan?" Of course, I want to go teach in Japan.
yeah. That's so crazy that I feel like that's like one in the once in a lifetime opportunities because yeah, when you get here, there's a lot of people that are here for English teaching, but then you think about it and you're like, how many people actually get that opportunity or even ask that question? Would you like to go to
Right.
Japan and teach? So it's like it's super crazy to think about because not I feel like not many people get that opportunity.
Yeah, and it came at a really crazy time in my life when my life was really in flux. I had just left a really bad relationship that I had been in since I was a teenager.
Hmm.
Um, so to have that relationship end and 2 weeks later to be offered the opportunity to come to Japan was really like God's timing kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, that's actually crazy because it's really like a when things are crazy and then you get this opportunity to almost it's almost like you get to leave whatever crazy's behind, right? So you just got to basically go to somewhere new, start a whole new life, and just build yourself from there. So that's super cool. Um,
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was able to start a whole new chapter in my life
yeah,
right when I turned 30.
wow, that's sick.
Hell yeah.
That's super sick. If you could go anywhere else, where would you go?
I'd really like to go to the UK.
Mm,
So I'm also really interested in English history. Um, so I listen to a lot of history podcasts.
yeah.
I'm really fascinated by English history, especially medieval art, things like that.
Hmm.
So if I could go anywhere else, I'd love to go to the UK.
What's your favorite time period?
Uh, so probably the time period of Henry VIII, so
Yeah.
16th century.
Mm,
Why?
what about
Um,
it? Yeah.
Probably because I'm really fascinated by Henry VIII and his wives. So he had
Uh,
6 wives,
Hmm.
and
mm,
they were all very interesting women with very they were very strong women, all of them. And the way he treated them was just very dastardly.
Mm.
So I'm really very interested in women of that time period.
Hmm.
Some of them were feminists before feminism was a thing.
Gotcha. Hmm. And
that's
then
cool.
and then you said so you were big on Japan's history. What is like your favorite thing of Japan's history? I know you said the geishas and things like that, and but what exactly is like your real interest? I guess I don't know the exact words for that. What about it interests you?
Um, so I actually studied art for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm really into art history, and there's just so much incredible craftsmanship and artistry in Japan's very long history.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the world's first novel was written by a Japanese woman, Murasaki Shikibu. She wrote The Tale of Genji. It was the world's first novel. Um, and I just am really drawn to the artistry of Japan's traditional culture, from the teacups that they use in tea ceremony and the different dyeing techniques that they use for kimono. Um, if you're really into art, it's just really amazing the things that they've come up with here that don't really. It's not that they don't exist in other cultures, but it's so unique to Japan.
Yeah, that is one thing is when it comes to Japan's art and everything, it's just like it's it's definitely stands out. It's definitely
Yes.
unique. It stands out, and it's something that you're like you kind of sit there and you look at it and you're like, how or where did you even come up with this concept? Or, you know what I mean? It's one of those things you just really think um, about. I think. I think so.
Yeah, I studied Western style art, so painting, charcoals, things like that. So to see like a woodblock print being made,
Hmm.
it's so different from what I'm used to doing. It seems like a lot more steps, probably because it is a lot more steps and it um but it's so like it's so Japanese.
Yeah.
You don't there's nothing like ukiyo-e in any other culture.
What is a ukiyo-e?
Ukiyo-e is the woodblock prints.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah, I'm so bad with terms and names of things, but and do you say so? So we'll hop a little bit into modeling and with the art. as well. Let's start off. How long have you been modeling?
I started modeling in 2020,
Mhm.
at the end of 2020, with a really good friend of mine. So, like the start of my Japan chapter, the start of my modeling chapter ended with the ending of a really bad relationship.
Really?
And it was one that made me feel really bad about my body, and I had developed like a really terrible self-image. And my friend said, "Well, let me take some pictures of you, and let's see how they turn out, and maybe that will help your self-image." And that's actually really kind of how it started.
Wow.
Was just with my good friend and her camera.
Hmm.
And then the more we took pictures and the more I met other photographers, I thought, well, maybe I could take pictures with them. Um, and yeah, now I'm doing big studio shoots with you guys and Alan, and um, I never really quite thought it would turn into something like that.
That's sick though.
Yeah.
That's to have a friend like that. That's a real friend. First off, that's a real friend. That is a real friend. Do you feel like when it comes to art and modeling, you kind of incorporate that together?
Yes, some shoots more than others. Um, I've worked with some really artistic photographers.
Hmm.
So it's really nice to be able to bring my knowledge of art history um, with my artistic photographer friends, their work, and we can combine these things. I once did a photo shoot with Becky.
Hmm.
We did a photo shoot based on the painting Primavera by the Italian artist Botticelli. So that was something I'd really wanted to do. I really like that painting.
I gotta Google. Gotta Google for me and the viewers. Prima Vera
Primavera.
painting. With like the I want to say it's almost like women. No, there's a man too. Like in the woods, and there's like an angel.
Yes.
I'll pull it for everyone watching as well. So this is a painting she's referring to. Hmm.
So that was a really fun shoot. And we did that shoot because I had just recovered from coronavirus. I had long COVID, so I was sick for a really long time.
Hmm.
And when I started to feel better, I wanted to do a shoot to like symbolize my healing, my rebirth, my spring. And that was the painting I was drawn to, and I knew Becky would be the photographer to do that shoot with.
Yeah, she's really good when it comes to art too. Very into the art and the meaning of things.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. So you've been modeling since 2020. What keeps you going? How do you feel like you keep going with modeling from there?
Actually, on a break right now.
You're on a
Um,
break? What do you
I'm on a
mean?
break.
Can't have you on a
Uh,
break?
since Osaka, I've been on a break just to kind of think about what I want to do going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and life has just been crazy. I was also sick in February, and uh, so I'm taking a little break. But I think at the end of the month I have a shoot.
Okay.
Um,
When you say like you want to like think or see where life's going, is that like if you want to continue modeling, or is that if where you want to take the modeling?
where I want to take the modeling.
Okay.
So I'm not a young model. I'm 37. Um, and it's kind of difficult sometimes to like not compare myself to younger models on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of taking a break to regroup and think about what I'd like to do going forward, and I think I really want to do more artistic type shoots over just regular portrait photography.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the more artistic shoots that incorporate more like art history and symbolism, those seem to resonate more with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't find myself comparing as much when I do those kind of shoots.
First off, I want to say that I don't think you can even compare the young models because you come in there with crazy skill. We're gonna say that because I think one thing is that these younger models are looking at like you and those that have been doing this. They're definitely looking at you because we've interviewed them and they're saying they're looking at you guys and how you come out with your confidence and because you have been doing it for what 5 years now.
About
So
5 years.
you come out there with confidence. You come out there and you kill the poses. Um, so one thing is these it's for the younger models. You might kind of see it as like a compare almost, but these models are looking up to you guys, um, which is super cool because like even I even think JP is looking at how you're posing, and he's a male model, but he's looking at things like that from you guys stepping on that stage and coming with the confidence. Um,
Yeah, and it took a little while to get there, like to figure out how to be in front of a camera, especially as somebody who has experienced a lot of like body image issues in my life. Um, it was really difficult at first
hmm
to like learn how to see myself through other people's eyes because that's really what modeling kind of is.
Yeah.
It's about seeing yourself through somebody else's perspective.
Right.
How do you feel that you were able to? Damn, the light's already dead. How do you feel that you were able to kind of build that up and overcome that? Because I know a lot of people are actually suffer from that to the point where they're even scared of stepping in front of the camera in the first place.
I think it's like any other thing. It's just a lot of practice and getting used to it and kind of just have to get over yourself a little bit. Um, and I think working with really good photographers has, really helped because when you have a good photographer, they will direct you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that takes out a lot of guesswork for you. If you have a photographer that knows what they want out of you and they can tell you what they want, how to tilt your head, how to pose, that's really great, especially for beginners.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that so much now that I kind of know what's expected of me when I get in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm.
But I recently went to Kyoto and I did a studio shoot there. It was a dress up shoot
Mm-hmm.
where I did a kimono. And the photographer there was like so on it. He told me exactly how to tilt my head, exactly where to put my hands.
Really?
And then all the pictures came out great because the photographer, he was so used to doing this.
Mm.
And then I have modeling background. Um, it was so easy. The photo shoot went like so seamless.
So is that like I actually saw the pictures when I when I pulled up your Instagram. Is that like a just a studio anyone can go to, or is that something that
Yes. So anyone can book a shoot. They do men and women, and they do different themes. It's was a little expensive, but it was definitely worth the experience.
I think it might have been the studio we saw Fox when we were looking into like a geisha shoot
Might have been actually.
because I don't know how many they offer. Is there a lot of different places over there? Or is there like one go-to place that's known over there?
Um, well, I found that one on Instagram, and they kind of specialize in the shoot that I did, which is not geisha, but it's oiran. Oiran were actually the highest class courtesans of the Edo era. Um, so I actually am dressed like a whore, which is funny because I'm very covered up.
Yeah.
But that was the style of the courtesans of that era.
Mm.
Um, so they specialize in that look, but they do other kimono looks as well. I think they do geisha.
Mm.
Um,
So how,
I think that one is pretty well known.
I kind of want a little history lesson here because now I'm curious. How does this whole geisha through the? Because I guess it's not just geisha, right? There's levels to it.
Yes.
How does this whole? I need a rundown if you don't mind. I'm so curious because uh, I'm terrible. Anyone that's ever talked to me knows that I hate reading, so I'm not gonna read this at all. So if I could talk to someone that knows and can inform me, I'm all for it. Um,
I love reading, and I really love reading about this stuff. And I actually used to do panels at anime conventions about geisha before I moved to Japan.
really.
Yes. Um,
Cool.
so Japan has a very unique culture where men pay for the privilege of being entertained by women. And this still exists today in the hostess clubs.
Yeah, like the
So
buy me drink.
yeah,
I was
we
always
still see,
wondering how that started, but I guess it
but
isn't
it
modern day.
dates back 1,000 years.
Okay.
Um, there used to be women who were priestesses, and they would dance, and men would pay to see them dance and talk to them. And they eventually became these courtesans in the Edo area, which is now Tokyo. They were called oiran, and in the Kyoto area they were called tayu.
Mhm.
Um, and from that came the geisha. And geisha are not prostitutes. People have this misconception about geisha that they're prostitutes.
Mhm.
They're not. They're entertainers. They specialize in song and dance. There used to be male geisha, even. I don't think there's really any male geisha today. There is one I know of that is, he is a man, but he dresses as a woman to entertain.
Oh.
Um, but there is this culture of even the courtesans, the prostitutes, men weren't just paying them for their bodies; they were paying them for the experience, for their artistry. They had to study things like instruments and dance and traditional singing.
Mhm.
So you would have a party with them. You would where they would entertain you, and they would serve you food and drink. Um, and the geisha really came from that culture, but they took away the sexual aspect of it.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, cause I've always I was the one that thought the misconception about the geishas. I ain't gonna lie. But that's cause of what I heard. I never actually like read into it. Um.
Part of that comes from the fact that we don't really have anything quite like that in Western society.
mm,
Um,
Not like that.
so we don't really understand this idea of paying someone for their time and their services without there being a sexual aspect to it.
Mm.
Um, and then it also comes from the book Memoirs of a Geisha, which was written by Arthur Golden. And he really did not do a ton of great research on his book. And so he wrote his book from a very male gaze perspective. And there was a lot of sex in the book. And it became a bestseller in America. So it kind of furthered this notion that geisha are prostitutes.
Mm. Huh. That is kind of. Yeah, see, you learn something new every day. Learn something new every day. Um. Okay. Let's thank you. Yeah. See, I feel like I'm a little bit more cultured. Uh, I was a little bit more cultured today. Thank you. So we'll swing back to modeling. What has been your most memorable experience so far when it comes to modeling?
Um, there's a couple that come to mind. Um, so the first studio shoot I did with Becky and a couple other photographers.
Mm-hmm.
Was called Aurora.
Yeah. She was telling us about it.
That was my first time to do a studio shoot, and that was a really, really cool experience. Um, and getting to do different costume changes. I think I did four. I did four costume changes. So it was really fast paced and like moving from one photographer to the next, and every photographer had their own set and their own ideas. Um, I nearly drowned in a bathtub during
What?
that. We had a bathtub that we could do pictures in, and she told me to put my face under the water, but I am not a swimmer. So when I put my face under the water, I took a nose full of bath water, and yeah,
Oh
almost
no.
drowned in the bathtub. But the pictures turned out really cool.
Anything
Anything
for
for
the photo. You gotta get the photo.
the photo, yeah.
Oh man.
And one of my friends, when she saw the photo, and because Becky and the other photographers did an exhibition for it,
Mhm.
when my friend saw the photo, she's like, "Wow, you can really see like the pain in your eyes. Like it's such a great photo." I'm like, "Yeah, because I was drowning.
This is actual pain.
It
This
was
isn't
real
fake.
pain."
It's real. This is real.
Look
Uh,
like the real thing.
what is your biggest challenge? Do you think you face with modeling?
For modeling.
Biggest challenge, yeah.
Um, I think going back to what I talked about before, I have a lot of I've had a lot of body image issues in my life. I've struggled with eating disorder since I was a teenager. Um, so to see myself through other people's views and not fixate on my perceived flaws. I know it drives like Alan crazy when I do that.
Mhm.
So I for me it's a challenge to not be like, "Oh, I hate how my chin looks in this picture," or "I this is a really bad angle for me," because I know as photographers you guys don't see that.
Mhm.
So I for me the challenge is to like let it go and to not let it be about me but to actually be about the photographer and their vision.
And when you do that, you find that it helps you get through the whole process.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm.
So my advice to younger models would be to not bitch at your photographers about, oh, I don't like this picture because I don't like this angle of myself, because I know from experience that makes you guys crazy.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah.
It does. Because
Oh
like
yeah.
I think I don't know. I don't like getting pictures taken of myself, so I can't really even say that. But like when I take pictures and something like that, like to me it's a really good photo. Like you're not only posing, but it's a really good visual of you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just
Hmm.
gonna be like here and then you got like your mouth wide open looking crazy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a good good picture of you. So
Yeah, I think I've never had a photographer that has chosen like an objectively
yeah,
bad photo.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Mm. How do you prepare for a shoot?
So I normally first communicate with the photographer, figure out what they want. Some photographers will do mood boards, which is really, really helpful.
Hmm.
Models, that's another piece of advice I will give. Don't be afraid to ask for a mood board because it'll really kind of give you an idea of what the photographer is looking for. Um, so once I get that information from the photographer, I plan my outfit, I plan my makeup, my hair. I do my own hair and makeup for the most part.
Hmm.
Um, so learning how to style your own hair is a skill. It takes a little while to learn. So if you can't do it at first, don't panic. Keep practicing. It's like everything else.
YouTube.
Um, so yeah, that's how I prepare for the shoot. Communication with the photographer is very important. And yeah, couple days leading up to the shoot, I'll probably bump up my skincare routine and try to eat healthier.
That's dedication for modeling. I don't think a lot of people actually do that unless they're doing almost like a shoot for maybe like a swimsuit or like a magazine or something along those levels. I don't think people really do that. So that's cool to hear that
100%,
you
yeah.
do that. That's
Yeah.
really locked in for the photographers, I think. Um, yeah, because I would never tell my model to do that. I'm not the person to say, you know what I mean? But
Right.
uh, I don't think any model that we've talked to so far has said anything like that.
Well, it's really quite incredible what diet does to your skin.
Hmm.
And maybe I notice it more since I'm getting older, but like recently my diet has been kind of crap. I've been going out to eat a lot. I'm not really on point with things and I'm getting breakouts and um it really is important to like have your diet on point and drink a lot of water and um that's going to give you better results for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, that's just like a health thing in general, not even like a modeling thing. Um,
Right.
this is definitely important to do. Um, so other than like shooting with photographers around Nagoya and things like that, I know you've done shoots for an exhibit. Have you done like a shoot for anything else other than that, such as like a some kind of poster for a company or anything in that aspect?
No, I don't do anything professional. I think with my visa, I'm not allowed to actually take paid modeling gigs, at
Really?
least not officially. So I wouldn't be able to work for like an agency.
Mm. Do you want to in the future?
So I've never done anything professional, but I did have a local newspaper come to my class, and they loved my pictures so much they used them in their newspaper like 3 months in a row.
What? That's
Shit, that's
cool.
nice.
That's pretty cool.
That's
I was
cool.
doing a Halloween lesson with my students, and I had these like cat ears on, and they just thought that was like the cutest thing they'd ever seen. So,
What's your dream shoot? If you could do
oh,
anything, no money, like no cost is there. What would your dream shoot be?
uh, gosh, that's hard. Actually, I think I'd like to do something like very medieval.
Medieval, like you're wearing armor.
Yeah, not armor, but like a medieval style gown and like a crown, maybe
um,
maybe a sword. I know it sounds cheesy, but
That'd actually be
like a
sick as fuck.
big black horse, like a big stallion, and that would be like
Ooh,
so.
that'd be cold.
mm,
That reminds me that it makes me think of Wonder Woman when you say that. Like a like a Wonder Woman picture, almost.
So it because I'm really interested in like art history and like medieval royalty and things like that. I just think combining those things into a shoot would be really cool.
That would be really cool. Where do you even get a
that
horse though?
would be cool.
How do you get a horse?
Um,
Like I see crazy
my aunt
shoots. And I'm
has
like, what?
my aunt has horses, but I don't think she has a black stallion. I was a horse girl growing up, actually. So,
Yeah. Do you live in the countryside?
yep.
Yeah. Mm.
So I grew up riding horses.
And then what did you get it? What got you into like art then?
I think I just was always like more artistic kid. I always liked painting and drawing growing up. Um, and in order to study painting and drawing, you have to study the history of it
Mm.
to help you like have more knowledge of your craft.
And that's what really got you. Do you paint now? Do you still paint and everything?
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's kind of a skill that if you don't use it, you lose it.
Mm.
So, with moving to Japan and not really having as much space, I used to have like a studio. I had a whole room that was dedicated to painting,
Oh
and
wow.
I don't have the space for that anymore. So I do paint every once in a while, but it's not the kind of stuff I was doing 10 or 12 years ago.
Gotcha. I would like to paint. I'm just not artistic at all. I can barely color in
Well,
lines.
anybody can paint.
Uh, if I try to paint something and showed you, you'd be like, what kid painted this? That's me.
I think art is accessible for everyone.
It is. Yeah, and that's what I use my photos for. That's my art. You know what I mean? I can't paint
Yeah,
for my life. I can't draw for my life. I can barely color for my life. So pictures is my thing, where I can kind of capture that. And I've been trying to work. I think this one thing I'm trying to do right now is really capture something different. Like I love the portraits and stuff; they're cool, but I think I really admire how people are able to catch like some art, like super artistic things, you know,
hmm
and just beautiful pictures. That's what I've been doing. Last 3 days I've shot. I've been shooting nature. I got a bunch of nature photos to go through, but yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
I
like that
actually
aspect.
no, I don't think people are really interested in like macros photos, but like I love just getting up close to a cherry blossom and taking a picture of it.
Mm. Yeah, actually, that is a lot of people, and then you have people like Dave who really gets macro with it and is shooting water
Yeah.
puddles. You know what I mean? I think it just depends on how you look at things and your kind of view when you're out and about and you're actually taking pictures. Um, 'Cause I do the same thing, or just try to see how you can turn a flower or something simple into like a crazy photo. You know, whether that's with
Yeah.
flowers around it or just things around it in general. It's super cool. Hmm. What else I got?
But yeah, I think I don't think you have to be artistic to paint. Yes, drawing especially takes a level of skill, but that skill is learned, like a lot of other things.
Mm.
Um, and I think it is a skill that anyone can learn if they have a good teacher.
Yeah, I like to.
It just
Yeah.
it takes time and it takes practice. I know it's come up a few times during this podcast that you just have to practice.
Yeah, but it's like you do have to practice, but some things are just like you're natural at, it, and some things like you aren't. You know, just some. I think that's some things that are. I don't want to say that because I don't want to knock people that want to do something because you can kind of do anything you want in reality. But it's just like you have people that are like naturally gifted. You know, like I tried the whole art
Yeah,
thing when I was a kid. I had like a whole big box full of paints and colored pencils, and I had drawing books. It's just not for me. I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't going nowhere. um, but I don't know. Maybe just I didn't take it too seriously.
so I would say I'm not one of those people that's like very naturally gifted. I really had to work. I feel like I had to work harder at it.
Hmm.
And I remember my high school art class, my drawing class. I turned in a project. I got a B, and I had worked on that project for like 2 weeks.
Mm.
And one of the girls in my class, she was naturally gifted, and she did her entire project in 2 hours the night before, and she got an A. And I remember being so salty about it. Like, I put in so much more work than
Right.
she did, and she got rewarded. She's got natural talent.
Oh man, still angry about her.
Yeah,
That's cool.
well, that's life, right?
Of course, of
That's how
course.
life is.
Nah, definitely. That's definitely how life is. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh, that's a really difficult question. Um, so I actually almost went home this year.
Hmm.
I almost moved home, and life happened, and I decided to stay in Japan. I don't know that I see myself in Japan in 5 years, but it's difficult to say where I see myself because everything in the world feels so tumultuous right now.
Yeah, that's.
So I just hope that in 5 years I'm doing something that makes me feel fulfilled.
What would that be, what would you think that would be?
So I actually really do like teaching.
Hmm.
I did teach in the US. I taught art in the US before I came to Japan.
Mm.
Um, I really do like working with children, and I also when I was in university, I was really involved with the international student community. Um, so I would like to do something either with children or with international students, being like a mentor or a teacher or a liaison of some kind.
Hmm.
Basically, I want to help people and I want to inspire people, and um, I don't think our lives should be just about us.
Agree. Agree.
Mm.
How do you think being a teacher? How much like how do you how oh fuck can't talk. How do you think that impact is on a student when you're a teacher? How much impact do you really think that a teacher has on a student?
So I was just having this conversation last night, actually,
Really?
about for my job. I'm an ALT, assistant language teacher, and your first year or two doing this job, you're like, "This is so fun! I just get to play with kids every day and like teach them English, and it's so great, and they're so cute." And then, like by year 5, or where I'm at year 7, you're sometimes like, "Why do I do this?" Because I'm in Japan, I'm teaching English, and nobody speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
So the English proficiency in Japan is pretty low, considering that they start learning English at least from junior high school. In my case, I teach elementary school as well. But it means a lot to me at the end of the school year when I get notes from students that tell me, "I didn't like English before I met you, but I like English now.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to study abroad now." Like when I get those notes, I know that I've made a difference in a student's life,
Mm-hmm.
because I think going outside of your borders is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of Japanese people will stay in Japan. Some of them will even stay in their prefecture.
Mm.
Um, so I want to inspire my students to like not necessarily go to America. They don't have to go to America where I'm from, but to go outside of what they're used to. I want to show them that I've done that,
Mm-hmm.
and if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's my job not only to teach English, but to equip them with the the possibility that they can go outside of the bubble.
Yeah. No, that's very true. And I like that answer because it's. I think it's even bigger than that, and I guess it's kind of harder to say because you're teaching kids so young. But I think even as you get older, having that like a good teacher is so important because you're surrounded by them every day, and that's just it's. You know, there's I think teachers in general can make such a life difference to people.
Yeah, I think it's just as easy
Big
to
time.
remember your terrible teachers as it is to remember your great teachers.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
I remember my high school teacher that I looked up to. I got him on Facebook and everything, you know. And for the longest, I'd message him and ask advice about things. Because I think that's such an important thing because like it's one thing because you don't know what people have going on at home, right? So they come to
Right.
school. These kids come to school. They're already having shit time at home, and then just to deal with the shit teacher, it makes things 10 times worse, you know. But being able to go if you're having a shit situation at home and going to someone that's actually mentoring you, not only by giving you the lesson that they're supposed to, but just mentoring you in life as well. Um, that's super important to have. But it's like I don't know how schools are here, but I think a lot of schools in America are definitely struggling with that.
Yeah, and like my job is to not only teach English, but I'm also a representative of my country that these kids see, and like so I think I should be a friendly smiling face for them, because like you said, they could be struggling at home, and some of them are. Japan is not utopia. And there are domestic violence situations here, there are child abuse situations here, there's poverty here, and people don't maybe see those things as much. but they definitely exist. And sometimes a kid just needs a friendly, smiling face that'll say, "Hello, how are you today?"
Yeah, very true. Someone that's gonna actually mentor them and show them respect, even though kids still deserve respect too, even though they're a kid.
Like before I came to Japan, I worked at a YMCA, and mostly I taught art and cooking, but I also worked in the child care center, and we served a lot of kids that lived in poverty.
Hmm.
And the one thing those kids needed the most was respect. They just needed somebody who saw them as human beings. People forget that children are human beings.
Yeah.
They're just smaller versions,
Yeah.
but they have their own thoughts. They have their own minds. They have their own likes, dislikes, and it's hard for me to cater to all of that because I see like 600 students in a week at my job between 3 schools.
Hmm.
But when I worked at the YMCA and I was just in a classroom of 12 kids, it was much easier for me to do that.
Yeah.
And I had a kid that, like, the supervisor told me, "Oh, he's so difficult. Good luck with him. Like, nobody can get through to him." I I found out he liked the Dallas Cowboys, so I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm a diehard Detroit Lions fan. But I would look up like the stats of the Dallas Cowboys and see how they did. So on Monday I could talk to him about the football game.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that meant a lot to him.
Nope. It's little things like that.
Yeah.
But that's also it's super important too because that turns them almost what they're gonna be as an adult, right? If they were just
Right.
getting shit, now they're an adult. They're just gonna be shit too. They're gonna be act the same way they were treated to when they were younger. That's like super important. I was curious. I was just curious on what you thought about it because uh, I think a lot of people will like agree with it, but how many people actually do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're in kind of a strange culture now where it's very like acceptable to say I don't like children. And I think it wouldn't be acceptable to say that about any other demographic.
Yeah.
But people are very comfortable saying it about children. I don't like children. Children are the most marginalized community on this planet.
Hmm.
So I think it's important as a teacher to make sure that I am giving children tools and respect. And to I want them to know that I view them as human beings.
Hmm. I don't know why people
So
don't like kids. Kids are funny as shit. Kids are like the
yeah,
funniest. Kids and like super old people are the funniest people in the world. No
kids
filters.
are they're so honest. They'll
Yeah.
hurt your feelings sometimes.
Yeah, that's why I say kids and it's older people, like super old people that just don't give a fuck no more. Like,
Filter's not
those,
there or
yeah,
the filter's gone.
yeah. Those those two are the most honest group of people. I think I love that the most. I love that the most for sure. Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know if I would be a teacher in the US based on how things are right now. It's something I've given thought to. Would I want to pursue a teaching license to teach in the US? But definitely working with children, even though I don't always see immediate rewards from it.
Hmm.
I don't really actually imagine myself doing anything else right now.
What? How is what's like the difference with the school systems here? How is it different from the U.S. Would you say?
There's some pretty key differences. I'm not sure how it was in your school, but for my school, junior high school and high school, I didn't have a homeroom. I had my own schedule. My friend had her own schedule. Um, so everybody's schedules were different. You might only have one or two classes with your friend,
Mm-hmm.
but here they have a homeroom. So like they do all classes together, and I think it builds a much stronger camaraderie with their classmates.
Mm.
And they also do like really fun school events. Like they have their sports day, they have chorus contest, they have the school festival. They have all these events where they have to work together
Mm.
to make this event come to life. Um, I never had anything like that in school.
I had 7 periods. Have a great day. That's how it was.
Yeah,
Good luck.
yeah.
Here's your 7
Seven
classes.
periods, and you have 5 minutes to get to your next class, and it's on the other end of the building. So
You're
good
right.
luck.
You're sprinting down the hall.
My senior year of high school, I didn't have a lunch hour
What?
because I took too many electives, so they couldn't give me a lunch hour.
I don't
I
don't
was
think
like
that's
in my
illegal.
art class, like shoving sandwiches into my face.
Wow. My senior year, I was so done with school. I had like 5 periods, and then I left the rest of the day. Hopefully, my mom never sees this video. Hopefully, my mom never sees this video. But yeah, because I had all my what do you call it? My points, my elective points. So I didn't really have to do anything. So like 5th period, my cousin would be waiting for me in her car, and I tell him I'm going to college. I didn't go to college. I wasn't that smart. I was like, yeah, I'm with the college guys. I'm gone, and I would just leave every day. But yeah, I guess that's the big difference. And then I don't know. I think the school system in the States is just so dumb. They don't teach you anything for real. I can't remember anything I was taught in high school.
Yeah, I remember. I remember not liking algebra.
Oh, me too. I don't think Fox, you like algebra? Fox?
Say what?
I said you like algebra?
No, I said I guess. Well, can you guys hear me? Damn. But yeah. As soon as she said that, I said, nah, I'm good with that. So
Yeah, we didn't hear that. No. But yeah, fuck. I hated algebra, history. I would fall asleep.
yeah,
Spanish. I would argue
oh,
with the
fact.
Spanish teacher the whole time. Uh, I was such a bad kid in school. Uh, and I regret it from time to time, but you know, it is what it is now. I'm here. I'm doing all right.
Yep.
That's all that matters. But I wish they would like teach you. I don't know if they do it in Japan, but like teach you life shit. Do they teach you life shit in Japan?
I don't think so.
Say what?
Like how to do your taxes or you know how to do real life shit. Do they teach that anywhere?
Nah.
So Japan's education kind of suffers from teaching for the test.
That's the
So
same
this,
thing though in America. They teach you for the test.
yeah, and then once the students take the test, they forget everything they've learned, and I have this problem in my English classes.
Mm.
Like, what do you mean you don't remember this grammar? We just studied it last unit, but they already deleted those files to make room for the next test.
I feel like it's almost sticks more though, in a way, because I feel like you see a lot more Japanese kids trying to talk to you, knowing that you're English, rather than if you're safe. They don't go for. They're not trying to talk to people in Spanish. You know what I mean? But here in Japan, you have like a lot of uh, Japanese kids or even like adults that are trying to learn English. They'll actually try to sit there and practice and talk to you or go to like these foreign meetup spots and try to practice. They don't got that in America.
Yeah, I really think that America suffers from monolingualism.
Mm.
We really need to have more emphasis on other languages because it's good for our brains, for one thing, to be able to speak more than one language.
Yeah.
And I think it helps us build bridges and it helps us to understand other people more, and not just on a language level, but learning Japanese as a language has helped me understand Japan more as a country.
Mm.
That's true. That's true.
I'm not very good at Japanese, and I've been really lazy with studying, but
I can say
I,
thank you.
I did study it in university, and I think that learning the language has really helped me here in more ways than one.
Mm.
What do you use to help you study?
I use the JLPT textbooks.
Mm.
Mm.
I
If you
haven't taken the JLPT in a really long time because the last time I took it, I failed it by 3 points, and I kind of gave up after that.
Ugh.
if you would have said Duolingo, Fox is gonna try to beat your score.
Well, I am on Duolingo because I'm learning Spanish right now.
I'm on Duolingo too. I hate when I don't use it. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. The I don't know if anyone has let their Duolingo sit long enough where the app starts changing faces.
Yeah.
But
Oh, mine changes faces throughout the day. Like if I haven't practiced by the evening, the owl is like losing its mind. And I'm
Yeah.
like, calm down, I have to work.
yeah,
Like
mine
I don't
was
have all this,
Yeah.
just learn Spanish.
mine was dead once. I was like, yo, come on, we're over exaggerating now. Doing a little too much Duolingo.
For real, for real.
It's like a crazy like ex-boyfriend or something. It just keeps like,
Yeah,
did you study Spanish? Did you study today? Time to study.
I had shit to do today. I ain't got
Yeah.
time to sit here and yell at you while you tell me I'm saying the wrong thing, but I know I'm saying it right. Oh man, yeah, that's an interesting app. I think it's a good tool though. It's definitely a good tool.
Yeah.
Good tool to have. Um, but yeah, we'll start wrapping up. I'm exhausted. Um, do you have any advice you would give to anyone watching, whether that's life or modeling or and things like that?
So modeling advice, I think I covered a little bit. Talk to your photographers. Like
Mm.
communication is very important for a successful photo shoot. Um, if you're not comfortable doing something, it's totally okay to tell your photographer that you're not comfortable with that. I've had to do it before.
Mm,
Um, I think it's perfectly fine to advocate for yourself, and I think that's probably hard for younger women, especially. Um, but as somebody who's a little older and more experienced and has been through the ringer a few times, I've had to learn how to advocate for myself.
mm.
Um, and I think that's important in any aspect of life is being able to advocate for yourself. So that's not just modeling, but in life in general.
I mean, it's very true. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's. I don't know. Is there a lot of people that don't say something to their photographers if they don't like it?
I've heard some stories, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah, that's the last thing. I would like if you don't like something, tell me.
Yeah.
That's I think that's the biggest thing, and yeah. Mm. And then
Um,
if photographers are not asking if their model's cool with it, that's a not okay thing either.
yeah.
That's definitely a big no. Should always make sure your model's good. Hmm. Do you have anything else you would like to say to anyone watching?
Um, no, I think I covered all of it, and I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course. Thank you for joining.
All right, thank you so much.
I'm gonna shut your stuff out. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet.
I'm not leaving yet.
Okay. Anyone that's watching, we got her Instagram. Make sure you follow the Insta.
And it's
Great
private, so
model.
you have to send me a request.
Oh well, yeah. Send a request if you're interested in following her Insta. Amazing model. It's actually Fox's photo he took. Crazy photo.
Yes, that is Fox's photo. Is my profile picture.
Hmm. Hmm. Amazing photo. Did you take these photos yourself? The flower ones?
Yes, I do.
You're just a hidden photographer and wasn't telling nobody?
I don't consider myself a photographer. I'm just taking pictures on an iPhone.
Still really, that proves that. Hold on, I'm going back. This proves a point. You don't need an $1,000 camera. Look how crazy these photos are, off an iPhone camera.
And I just use the iPhone editing software too. I don't do anything fancy.
Even crazier. Even crazier.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Short and simple.
Make sure you show some love. Thank you for those who watched. Thank you so much, Katrina, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
It's been
Thanks for
fun.
letting me geek out about history.
Oh, I love it. I love learning new things. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, mine too.
So, thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks so much for those watching. I'll give a minute, see if anyone wants to ask a question.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. Not too bad, huh?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. I lost my collaborator chat. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Anyone watching, if you want to ask a question, I'll give you about a minute. So what's your shoot at the end of the month, if you don't mind me asking? Is it the good room? Are you coming to that?
No, I actually don't think I'm coming to that. I might be traveling because that's
Ooh.
Golden Week.
Where are you going? Anywhere special?
No, I haven't decided yet, which I have to decide soon, I guess. But
Where would you like to go? Is there any place that you haven't visited you're looking at going?
so I've actually never been off of the island of Honshu, the main island of Japan.
Mm.
So I'd really like to go to Kyushu, but I don't know
Mm.
if that's happening right now.
Mhm.
But I haven't committed to anything because I'm like, well, if I can travel, I want to travel.
I really want to go to Okinawa.
Yeah, I really want to go to Okinawa as well.
I heard Okinawa is really cool. No, you
Golden
don't.
Week's like the worst time to go though, because that's where all the Japanese people go on Golden Week is Okinawa.
No, you didn't. Oh, that's Popper. What do you mean? Also, we opened up chat. I know you just joined. If you would like to ask any questions, feel free.
No, my shoot at the end of the month, I'm working with a Toyohashi photographer, but I'm not sure what we're doing yet.
Mm. Who's a photographer?
Francis? Do you know Francis?
Yeah, not Francis. Yeah, I met Francis at I don't know if he was at the last shoot. Was he at the last shoot? I think
No, he
I
was
remember.
not.
I think I met him at the first one.
He did my black and white mask pictures on my Instagram.
Let me pull him up.
He's a really, really incredible photographer.
Mm. Oh yeah. Francis always shows love to my stuff. That was a response to losing cloud chat. It's been there since joined about. Damn. My bad. Oh, that's Popper. Was gonna say I would suggest Galapagos or Bora Bora for photography. That'd be cool.
A little far.
A little far, but that'd be cool. Any questions for Katrina?
Mm.
I think something happened weird with our chat, Fox. Because Odas Popper said they sent that message like 10 minutes ago.
Say that again.
Oh, that's Popper sent a message. Said that it was sent like 10 minutes ago.
Mm.
But I think her chat was acting up. No questions. No questions. Okay. Cool. We'll get out of here then. Thank you
Cool.
again, those watching. Thank you so much, Katrina, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
Of
you.
course,
Thank
of
you.
course. Cool. All right, see you guys. We'll be live again. What's today?
It's
Sunday.
Wednesday.
This Wednesday we'll be live. And yeah. What do we got going on that we could shout out? We got the event at the end of the month. Also, little insider for those watching. We're gonna do one more event, me and Fox, before I get out of here in Japan for a few months.
Vivid Visions.
We're gonna have a Vivid Visions cruise going away. The 17th of May. So if you're
Get
in
something.
Osaka area and would like to come, please join.
Mm.
But other than that, thank you so much, Katrina.
All right, thanks again.
Here's our
Yeah,
Instagram
thank
one
you.
last time. And we will see you guys on Wednesday.
Peace.